Hi friends, it's Miss Warren here. Today I'm going to show you how to use a new material called chalk. This is art chalk. It's a little bit different than the chalk you use outside on the playground. As you can see, it's a lot smaller. It comes in a lot of colors, just like the chalk that you use outside. And today I'm going to show you how to use it in a few different ways. We are going to make something that looks like this. This is a practice sheet. We are going to practice using the chalk today, and we're going to practice drawing small lines and pushing the chalk, drawing big lines, and overlapping big lines. We've talked about overlapping and how overlapping is when one thing is over another. So right here I have overlapped blue and green, so those colors are blended and mixing together. So let me show you how we are going to do our practice sheet. And at the end of the day, we are going to try and make an artwork that looks a little bit something like this. These are Northern Lights, and we are going to make a landscape that looks like Northern Lights. So we have our sky that is very colorful, and we have our mountains. Now, a landscape is anytime you have a artwork, whether it's a picture or a drawing or a painting that is outside. So if you drew a picture of your house, that would be a landscape. If you have a picture of a city, that's a landscape. If you have a picture of us sitting in the art room, that's not a landscape because that's not outside. But anytime you have a drawing or a painting or a picture that's of the outside, it's a landscape. So we are doing a landscape of mountains with the Northern Lights behind them. Now I'm going to pause it there, and we are going to watch a quick video about the Northern Lights. We're going to learn a little bit more about the Northern Lights and how they work and what colors they are, and then it'll be your turn to practice using the chalk. So now that you have seen what colors the Northern Lights are and how they are made, we are going to practice using the chalk, and next week we will work on our landscape. So to work on our chalk, we need to do a few things. We are going to practice using the small tip of the chalk, kind of like it is a pencil or a marker or a crayon or colored pencil. We're going to just try making a thin, small line using one of the small corners. So I'm going to practice drawing a thin, small line. Perfect. Now I'm also going to try and draw a thin, small line, but I'm going to blend it, or I'm going to push it with my fingers. There you go. There's my thin, small line, and now I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to push that chalk. Ooh, very cool. This will help create our Northern Lights next week. As you can see in my other practice, here's what it looks like when I pushed that chalk. It makes this really cool effect that makes the chalk kind of move and dance on your paper. So now that I've practiced drawing small lines, a small line and a small line that I've pushed, I'm going to try drawing a thick line. To do that, I'm either going to use the thick part of my chalk, or I might try and use that corner. Let me see if I can do this way. Oh, that way's kind of hard when I'm just using the side. So let me try and use the tip, or the corner, sorry, the long corner. Much better. That way's easier. So now I've made some thick lines. So I've shown you 3 ways to use the chalk. Thin lines and pushing, and thick lines. Let me show you how to blend with thick lines. I'm going to put blue over green, and I'm going to use the thick side. Now I have blended colors. I can even use my fingers to mix them. Now I've shown you 4 different techniques. Thin line and pushing, thick line, and blending with thick line. Now that I have the blue in my hand, I can practice doing it again. I have my thin line pushed. Ooh, so cool. And I have my thick line. Very nice. Now that I have that one done, I'm going to put my blue away and I'm going to grab another color. Maybe this time I'll grab, ooh, maybe the purple. I'll try blending with the purple, blending with the thick purple. Oh, this one's a little tricky. Blending and maybe smoothing and rubbing it in. Now I'll try my thin line and my thin line with pushing. So there's 4 things I want you to try. Your thin line pushing, thick line, and blending with your thick line. All right? So as the sub is walking around today, she is going to make sure that you have all 4 things. You might tell her you're done, but if she looks at your paper and sees that you are missing things, make sure you add them. All right? We need to make sure we have all 4 things, so we are practicing. So next week we are ready to make our landscape.